does something inside you spiritually that allows you to understand that, every moment we have in this life is beautiful.
You're a traitor to your people!
And you're the devil. You kill innocent people.
There's no innocent people!
That's it, love brings everything. The happiness, the dreams, the family, the friends, everything. Actually, love, it's everything.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 105. I'm Jake Green, joined as always by Zach Varnell, with two others maybe coming along at some point in time. Unsure at this point. I think Steven will be here in about 15 minutes. Nick says he may pop in, but he'll be late. Alden hasn't responded, and Zane is out for the week. So you might just be getting me and Zach this week, which has happened before, and those have been great episodes. So, yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Zach, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Just had a good Christmas and
nice.
Just enjoying being off work and things like that. So,
did y'all get the entire week off?
I work for a company that's like 4 people, so we kind of just do whatever we want, and they just didn't sell any jobs for like the last few weeks around this time, so we're not doing anything. But.
Gotcha. Well, sweet. Yeah, I mean, real estate photography around this time is dead. So like, I got, I think, one order during the month of December, which is on par with all my other Decembers. So nobody's
sitting at home enjoying the time with their family, drinking eggnog, and be like, we should sell this place. This sucks.
Correct. Yeah. And yeah, when you fill your house with a tree and presents and all that, it's the selling it is not the first thing on your mind.
Yeah.
Though we are renovating ours in order to sell it, but there's no tree or anything in it right now. So there's actually no floor in it right now either. Yeah. As you can see, I'm down here in the basement again of my neighbor's house. They're not even home this time, so that's pretty cool. I'm home alone.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. What are you drinking?
I actually do have something besides White Claw this time, although I do have the White Claw, but I have this 3 Chords whiskey, and it's from Under Oath. The band was selling this, so my wife got it for me for my birthday. So
really,
yeah.
Have you had it already? Have you already opened it?
Yep, I've had a little bit. I'm not a real big whiskey guy, honestly, so I don't know if it's good or bad.
Is it good to you?
No, it tastes pretty gross, honestly. But
do you mix it with something, or do you just drink it straight?
I just drink it straight.
Well,
I don't even know what you would mix it with.
You'd mix it with Coke.
Okay.
Bad whiskeys get mixed with Coke or made into an old fashioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should do an old fashioned.
Yeah, old fashioned would be good, or a Manhattan. That'd be good too. Let's see. Happy Kwanzaa from Buddy. Grumpy says, "Hey y'all, what up, Grumpy?" Yeah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Boxing Day, whatever holiday it is for you today.
Oh, yeah.
Is
I
today
don't believe
also,
anyone actually does Kwanzaa.
I don't think so either. We're
Yeah.
actually going to get to that during trivia.
Okay.
Because I've never ever met somebody who actually celebrated Kwanzaa. I'd be
Yeah.
interested to know I'd be interested to know somebody who did and what they do
Yeah.
during that.
They should have just called it Chocolate Christmas. That sounds so much better.
So many more people would have gotten on board if they called Kwanzaa Chocolate Christmas.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, before we get started, everybody, head on over to peacefulseed.network to check out our website. You can join the Dollar Media Club, which gets you access to exclusive shows, documentaries, movies, discounts on merchandise, access to the Discord where all of us hang out. You can also stream this show directly from the website. You can see all the other shows that we're producing, all the movies, all that kind of stuff. And now, thanks to Zach, we have a 24/7 channel on Rumble. So you can $10. I'll mute that, but you can see previous episodes. You can see Banished Big Brother on there. You can see Propaganda Report. You can see Free Georgia podcast, along with some of our advertisements for other things, and more stuff will come to it. Grumpy says, according to Google, 500,000 to 2 million people celebrate it. That's interesting. But he says it's a holiday we celebrate inside of ourselves. It's an inward holiday. Buddy. Oh, buddy. Come on, man. That's too good. That is too funny. I'm so glad that was a comment tonight. That is hilarious. Yeah, head on over to peacefulseed.network. You can I'll just give you all a little demonstration of the DMC. Yeah, these are all some of the perks. You can upgrade your membership, be a pro, $100 a year, $1,000 a year, $10,000 a year. If you're an investor and you want to actually make money off of movies that we produce. You can also go over to the streaming center, which has 3 documentaries and 1 short film right now. And then it also has Pants Drunk and the Q&A sections for Cascade Effect, which is the biggest show on Peaceful Seed Network at the moment. So head on over there and check it out. Sign up for the Dollar Media Club. It's literally $1 a month. It's $12 a year. It is not a substantial financial investment, and you'll be helping us out and getting more eyes and viewers on everything that we do. So we're also brought to you by Rabbit Eye Wine. Go to rabbiteyewine.com to learn more about their delicious blueberry wine and go get yourself a bottle. You can do it in person if you live in Georgia. If you don't, you can order it online. Yeah. Well, Zach, since it's just you and me, should we go ahead and get into the first topic?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me bring it up. Let's see. Boom. All right. Big beverage recruiting army of lobbyists after RFK reiterates calls to ban purchasing soda with food stamps. So, obviously, libertarians in general are not okay with banning things because we think free choice, people's free will, do what you want, and that should be the law of the land. However, there's a different little aspect with this one, considering he's banning it for purchase with food stamps, which is a welfare type thing, which we don't think should exist either. So I guess my question, and it would have been I think we're going to agree on this, but it would have been far more interesting with more people up on this screen right now. Is there a libertarian argument for what RFK is doing?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a libertarian argument, but I think it makes sense. I think it's a common sense argument.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people should drink less soda if they want to do it. That's up to them.
Yeah.
But probably shouldn't be paying for it with government money.
There we go.
Or tax
obviously,
money, whatever.
Grumpy, we're all for banning food stamps on this show. 100%. However, if the only option was to ban, is to do exactly what RFK is doing, which is ban the purchase of soda with food stamps. I actually think that if someone is so obsessed with soda that they must have it, then that is a pretty dang good incentive to get them off of food stamps.
And
and
money is fungible anyway. Like they're just gonna buy their food stamps and then use what money they do have to buy soda. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't think there's a libertarian argument for it. I do think it's a common sense argument for it, and I don't know if there's a libertarian argument against it. I guess that was a better question.
Well, I remember when I worked at a grocery store. Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
All right.
Maybe autocorrect. Who knows? But yeah, when I worked at a grocery store when I was a teenager, I was a bag boy. Like I would see people come in and they're obviously using food stamps to stock vending machines. Like they would have an entire cart full of nothing but Coke, and then they would just buy it and go stock a vending machine, make money back. So
wow, that's an interesting scam.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't like super widespread, but we'd see people doing it, every now and then.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I like people gaming the system.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to do it. I really like that idea.
Who knows if it's even their food stamps? They might have bought it from somebody at a discount. So
interesting, dude. Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it. I know also he is saying that within weeks of Trump becoming president, they're going to ban food dyes. I 100% think there's an libertarian argument against that. Because that's not, it's for the general population. I mean, I don't know. There might actually be a libertarian argument for it as well, but I'm not really sure. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that broader one that applies to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I get the libertarian argument for it. We don't want to ban things, but this is probably where it's the hardest to sell libertarianism to people.
Yeah.
Because what it comes off as is like, well, you should be able to put poison in the food if you want to, and then I just won't buy it. It's like, all right, but you shouldn't be able to put poison in food. And a lot of the ingredients, like, it's not poison, but it's getting borderline when you talk about like the red dyes that will make kids act crazy.
I mean, it is essentially poison. Like,
so.
Red dye, or like red 40, yellow 5, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's essentially poison. And
there are alternatives. You can use beet juice or something to dye things red,
which they do in every other country besides the United States, which is just insane. Yeah, it is interesting. Like I'm not for just blanket banning of anything, but like there needs to be cultural shift. There needs to be massive amounts of societal change before any of this is going to actually get addressed. So I don't know, massive corporations that peddle things specifically to kids, putting poison in the food that they give to those children. Like I advocate for sure for people knowing what they're giving their children and like looking into what is going into the food that they're giving their children. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like, I just lost it. I don't know. If I could rewind it, I would remember exactly what I was going to say.
Saying if you go back in time, you'd know exactly what you were thinking at that time.
Yeah.
Wow. That's profound. Yeah. I mean, so far, I'm extremely unimpressed with all 99% of the nominees for different offices that Trump has made. So many of them have said they're banning this, they're banning that, they're getting rid of this, they're getting rid of that, and none of it has to do with government waste or government spending. Aside from Elon Musk, he's not assigned to anything.
Yeah, well, Doge, which probably won't have much real power. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about that, but
yeah, I don't think it has. I don't think it's going to have real power. I think it's going to have influence.
Yeah, which he already has anyway. But
there you go.
Yeah. I remember now. I was going to say, I have no idea, but I would bet that a lot of this red 40 and seed oil crap is probably because of subsidizing things too. Like we
Mm.
subsidize oil and then we get all these petroleum products and, like medicines and foods and whatever.
Yeah.
And we, subsidize corn and agriculture. And then we get these nasty oils that are made with, byproducts or whatever they couldn't sell or, things they would not be growing probably otherwise.
Yeah.
Except, I don't know, not an agricultural guy. Bums me out that Thomas Massey didn't get picked for ag secretary.
It's insane.
But I would bet you almost anything. There's just tons of subsidies that's also encouraging all this trash food.
So yeah, then the argument would be, if that's the case, if there are, because I'm pretty sure there are, then the case would be to end the subsidies, and that the problem would take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like high fructose corn syrup seems to be a pretty easy one. Like if we didn't subsidize corn so heavily, we wouldn't have all this corn syrup that
Seriously, man.
we could just use sugar or monk fruit or whatever,
Please stop subsidizing corn. How many freaking ways do we need to learn how to use corn before we stop subsidizing it? Like it's crazy how many things we've come up with that corn can be used for. And I have a feeling that almost none of them are actually good for anybody. It just makes a little money, which is very frustrating. Did you ever watch, what was that movie with Matt Damon about the corn subsidy thing? The Informant. The Informant. That's it's a hilarious movie because he plays this whistleblower who kind of tries to play both sides as the whistleblower. So he tries to make a ton of money, but also tries to blow the whistle on his own company. It's wild, man. He does a great job. So
and Matt Damon probably learned nothing from it.
You're probably right. Yeah, he probably still has all the same beliefs about government after that. Or if he did learn a lesson, it was just don't be a whistleblower or just don't steal money.
The wrong lesson.
Yeah, the exact wrong lesson. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're like the whole RFK thing. I just think in a lot of ways, I like RFK. I think his heart is in the right place on a lot of these issues. I think he's still a big government guy. I think he wants government, or he thinks only government can solve certain problems. And I think he's dead wrong in that regard. But everything that he's banning are things that I wouldn't let my children eat or children do or children consume. So like, I'm okay with it in that regard. Like on a personal level, I'm okay with no red dyes being in anything. I'm okay with no soda. I don't drink soda anyway. I would never let my kids drink soda. Like I'm okay with all that stuff on a personal level. It's just telling everybody not to do that seems very anti-liberty, anti-freedom, anti-America first, I guess. I don't know, which is kind of what they ran on. I guess he ran on MAHA, which is just make America healthy again, which is not any type of, moral. There are no moral stipulations associated with that.
It is hilarious coming from him too. Oh man, my headphones are dying. I might have to, well, whatever. We'll figure it out when that gets here. But it is funny coming from him too, because like, I don't doubt his sincerity. Just you look at his background and you're like, oh yeah, he was a heroin addict. He, also, he's been into falconry. So, you need a steady supply of dead stuff for your falcon. And listening to people who are like around him, a lot of times they're like, yeah, he was eating it too. And at one point, like he left Camelot and went and like lived on trains, lived as a hobo, lived with, homeless people. And people are like, yeah, he ate tons of boiled rats and stuff like that. And then they went on some excursion through, I think, the Amazon rainforest. And they're just like, yeah, he was just obsessed with like eating exotic bush meat and all this stuff. So who knows? I mean,
he did run over a bear and then go eat it, didn't he? Yeah.
Well, he took it with him. So I could see that if I had a falcon, I'd be like, I'm not letting this go to waste. I'm going to give it to, I forgot his falcon's name. I doubt it's still around anyway, but it was named after someone from Camelot. But yeah, so some of the stuff, it's like, I don't think he was taking that bear home to eat it. I think he was taking it home to feed to his animals.
Yeah.
But then he left it in Central Park, and that's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. Why people don't find that more funny is crazy to me. That whole story is wild. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say. I don't think it's libertarianism doesn't solve every moral dilemma. It just is a form of government that we want implemented.
Well, I'm sure there's a very good answer too. And if Zane was here, he could spell it out and I'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. I totally agree with that. Like Walter Block has probably written about it. Something like very intellectual that I can't pop off the top of my head. And probably most people are just like, cool. I don't know. He's still going to ban it. So
yeah, very true. Mr. Stephen Hilton, the
hey fellas,
joins the stream. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, happy to be here.
What are you drinking?
This is a Bell's Hop Slam. So it's a seasonal. They normally release it like around Super Bowl time. Came out early this year.
Okay.
And it was actually a Christmas gift. Someone truly loves me.
Heck yeah. Dude, I love my new favorite thing is just consumable Christmas gifts. Like I don't want any more toys. I don't want any more stuff. Just give me something I can eat or drink and I'll be happy.
Oh God, my stepmom pulled us aside and was like, please do not buy Gary any more shit. It's everywhere. He doesn't throw anything away. He's got your gifts from like 4 years ago. Never used them. They're just on the shelf. Yeah.
Yep. No, my favorite. Just give me a box of dried fruit and dried nuts, and I'm happy. Like, yeah. Give me a case, bottle of Jameson or a bottle of any Scotch, any Highlands Scotch, anything made on the island that Lagavulin and Lefroy and Ardbeg are distilled.
God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, real quick, Stephen, before we move on to the next topic, give us your opinion. So the article was Big Beverage recruiting army of lobbyists after RFK reiterates calls to ban purchasing soda with food stamps. And so what we were talking about was whether or not there's a libertarian argument against this particular kind of ban that bans something that can be used with something that the government shouldn't even have to begin with.
Well, are they not supposed to be able to cure their own hangovers?
What are they curing hangovers with?
RC Cola, maybe.
That's right. Yeah. Or Coke, because it's got that little push of sodium.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, that doesn't cure jack squat on a hangover.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? A bacon sandwich and a can of Coke. You're right as rain. It's scientifically proven.
A freaking lunatic. That is not true. Not scientifically proven. No way. If I guarantee you, I would puke my guts out if I had that the day after I was super hungover. You're wrong. You're just wrong.
I mean,
and yes, they shouldn't be allowed to cure their own hangovers with alcohol they probably bought with some type of welfare.
I mean, they might have, whatever fruit they let rot in a can to make their own hooch. That's EBT approved, right?
Well, at least that takes some work and some time.
Well,
that's
so here's the thing,
work right there.
So this is the thing I've always said about RFK. I like the things he's saying. Yeah. I like the ideals, food related. I like the ideals that he's pushing, but it's how he wants to do it. Totally sucks. Now, I mean, we all heard who was the banjo guy? Tired of this shit, tired of this town, the people
Oliver Anthony.
There you go. That guy. I mean, he was onto something, right? Giving these people food stamps and they're just making themselves fat, eating little Debbie cakes and drinking Cokes and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I understand the concept of that. But I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well go ahead and ban the green Listerine because it's 27% alcohol.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, we've all been a freshman in college, hard up for a 6-pack, right?
Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. Yeah. I said something similar to what you just said, which is like I like what he's doing on a personal level. Like for me and my family, I would do the same thing, but I don't like banning things nationwide. I think that's stupid, and there's no libertarian argument for it.
Now, I mean, because so the way, and again, it's the way he's doing it too. Is specifying just soda. Now, if you could say anything with an added sugar content over X, now, you're actually doing the purpose you set out to achieve. Because what about the kind bars? You're supposed to believe those are healthy, 27 grams of added sugar. Oh, but I'm getting 4 grams of protein. They're garbage too. Heads up.
They're garbage.
Picking one industry.
They're garbage too. I think there are far more empty calories in drinks than there are in like that. At least kind bars do have some somewhat healthy things in them. I know they have the 27 grams of sugar, but name me one healthy side effect of a Coke or healthy thing.
I just did. Cures a hangover.
It doesn't cure a hangover. You cannot convince me of that without proving it. If you drink 12 beers tonight and then call me tomorrow and film yourself drinking a Coke and having a bacon sandwich, then and feeling fine afterwards, then I'll believe you.
Well, I mean, not just the bacon sandwich. You go out for the full redneck hibachi. You go to Waffle House.
So do you need the Coke at that point?
Yeah. Yep. You got to have the Coke. So it's the sodium, it's the caffeine, a little bit of sugar.
Then just pour some salt in your coffee, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That should do it. Or just
but you asked me the utility of a Coke, and I just told you.
I think it also dissolves rust.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I know that. I've wiped off many a car battery terminal with that thing. There are uses for it outside of consuming it. That's for sure. Some Quack says that's an excellent point, Stephen. Some Quack, you mind your own business.
I mean, because why are we just going after the soda industry? What about Capri Sun, which is, I would contest, more garbage than Coke.
Well,
at least
food
Coke
dyes might be going too.
I would say
exactly.
You're probably right about that. Yeah. I would say he's probably on his way to trying to ban about 1 billion different things. So I think Capri Sun would probably be included at some point in time.
Yeah,
but there's no Capri Sun.
I like the way he's doing that, though.
The
ideology here is scaling back, because our entitlements program, is the biggest portion of our budget by and large. Yes, we have the largest military budget in the world. We spend more on our military than all other militaries on the planet combined. But what we spend the most money on by far is our entitlements: Social Security, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid. Those are all the entitlements that we have. That's the biggest piece of the pie of our budget. So scaling that back, taking one little thing at a time. How can we do this and do it from an approach of promoting health? I see what he's doing, but again, just coming out and saying no sodas. Okay, well now you're Michael Bloomberg 2.0. You're a butthole.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that point. Like, I don't care for.
Michael Bloomberg banned them for everybody, though, not banned to buy with government money. So that's the big
difference. He's also the reason we don't get salt shakers on the table anymore.
Yeah,
what? I get salt shakers on my tables. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I do feel like
you go to a lot of restaurants. They don't leave salt and pepper shakers out anymore.
Why?
It's more common since that, I feel like, and things just aren't salted as much as they used to be. But I've also heard you taste salt less as you get older, so I'm willing to entertain that.
Because you become more salty.
Zach, the point I made earlier Stephen, the point I made earlier to Zach was that I like the banning of soda being purchased with food stamps, specifically because if you're obsessed with soda, it'll then incentivize you to get off food stamps.
Yes.
So I like that.
And there's got to be an incentive for that. And that was something, even Patrick Bet-David was talking about this on one of his recent shows with like health insurance is like, how do we fix this? Because everyone, get it. Everyone's frustrated with health insurance to the point that they're lauding a murder. They think it's okay to murder people that work for these companies now. They're so mad at the companies and their policies.
Yeah.
Which no, murder is not okay, people, by the way. But yes, our concept in this country of health insurance and how it's managed, it's not. I tell people all the time, it's not. Health insurance does not guarantee health care. All that means is you're not going to lose your house for going to the emergency room if you have good insurance. That's really all it does for you. There's no incentive otherwise. Now, what if companies paid you to get an annual physical? Some of them do. The Cadillac plans. They'll pay. You go get an annual physical, and they'll say, "Hey, well, this was high, your BMI is a little high, your cholesterol's a little high, your triglycerides are off the chart. How about next year you bring all this down 20% and we give you $200?
Yeah.
So, or whatever it is.
Not worth it.
Or
another
or
zero
give
on
you a
there for me.
Right. But there's no incentive to be healthy, right? Because that's, the sugar industry is heavily subsidized, high fructose corn syrup, the corn industry, heavily subsidized, all this stuff. And this is what RFK is going to shine a light on. Of course, he's going to do a lot of the wrong things along the way, but ultimately that's the goal, right? Is to show the masses that, like, hey, you're sick, you're unhealthy, you're unwell because you're on these programs.
Yeah.
You got in a pinch, you got in trouble. Now you're here, and this program you're on says you can only buy, these foods, and all of your food at the grocery store comes from the middle aisles. Then you're going to get sick and unhealthy.
Yep.
You go to the grocery store, you should walk the outer perimeter. If you can't feed your family off of what you get from the outer perimeter, save maybe soap and deodorant.
Yeah, save things you consume. Yeah, like
right
in your mouth.
Yeah.
What's the news on deodorant? Like, is it healthy to rub aluminum on your pits every day?
No,
dude. This is going to be way too much information, so apologies to everybody out there. I switched from aluminum to non-aluminum deodorant. For the next 6 months, I got pustules just about that big, or sometimes even bigger, just oozing aluminum garbage from all of my what are those called? All those
lymph nodes or something.
All the lymph nodes. It was the most painful thing I've gone through for 6 months at a time. Like, it was horrendous. My body was just rejecting all this stuff that had been built up in there forever. So I started using charcoal deodorant, so it was sucking all this crap out of my body. It was utterly painful. It was horrendous. So yeah, that's not a good incentive to get off of aluminum deodorant. But once you do, it feels pretty great, I gotta say. And I think not, like, once you get off of it, non-aluminum deodorant works way better as well.
It doesn't stop you from sweating, but it stops you from smelling.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, there you go. I got a buddy that switched to a salt crystal. Yeah, like, he didn't do the charcoal first. He just went straight from like antiperspirant to the salt crystal.
Jeez.
And he's like, it's only bad for a while you're detoxing. I'm like, did you have to start this in June? You could have picked a better month, maybe January, February. But after about 6 or 7 weeks, he still sweats, but it's not, doesn't smell like a wet dog when he's sweating.
Yeah. Yeah, I do tallow deodorant now. Seems to work.
You smell like a wet cow.
Smell like the inside of a wet cow.
That's true.
Let's see. Grumpy says, I don't want my employer to know my health. Well, if you watch this show, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And Sumquack says, yes, me too. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Why is that a thing? Why can't we as individuals band together, and even across state lines, for not just what you do for a living, but maybe your demographic?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a dink or a dwink, or, whatever your family structure is, the dual income, no child, or dual income with kids, whatever the tax classification is, why can't you band together regionally, in some kind of pool, something like that, to get health insurance?
Yeah.
So that way, maybe in the town you live in, your job is kind of rare, but who you are in that state is not quite so rare. And then, you tend to be more on the healthier side. It's just weird how things are managed like that. There's actually laws in place that stop you from shopping for insurance across state lines. Thank you, Bill Clinton. That's one of the things he put in place. And that's one of the things that kind of, jacks up the prices a little bit.
Just seems like a giant legal scam, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't think we're going to solve this issue tonight. But
we had Alden.
we got Steven's ideas, which were definitely different than ours. So I enjoyed that. Thank you, Steven.
Yeah, glad to help.
On to the next topic, which is Mr. Donald Trump officially calls for the purchase of Greenland, stating, for purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the U.S. feels that the ownership of Greenland is a necessity. Has anybody on this stream thought that the ownership of Greenland was a necessity for our national security and freedom?
No, we're not Russia hawks.
You know, half of my life I've been told my freedom is hiding under a rock in the desert. But, you know, he may be right. It may be in that frozen tundra.
Could be. Could be. I think really what he's after is the insane amount of natural resources that is under that ice.
Yeah.
Well, that and it's close to Russia.
That
so probably want to put missiles or something there.
That is a great way to get around YouTube's little censoring bots. Grumpy, good job.
Dude, they censor so much. Every time I'm in the audience, I get something censored, and I'm like not as crazy as Grumpy. I'm just.
Did you hear that, Grumpy? He's talking crap about you, man.
He knows. He agrees with that.
Yeah, the purchase of Greenland seems stupid. The only way that I would excuse it is if they reinstated the Homestead Act and let us just rush to Greenland and get free land. That would be the only way that I'd accept us purchasing Greenland.
I'm still waiting on my free vacation to Ukraine.
Oh, when is that coming?
I mean, about 1/10 of my paycheck has been going over there for the last, 7 years now? Like,
yeah. When do you think it's going to pay off soon?
I would hope. You know, it'd be nice. Just show up, no passport. Just, I'm an American. I paid for this. Thanks.
Yeah, some quack says with whose money now? Yeah, I mean that's fair. Maybe with their strategic Bitcoin reserve that they're going to start using when Trump gets in office. I don't know, but why? Why are we trying to buy Greenland other than it's closer to Russia?
Is it for sale?
No. Denmark has already said no, and I guess like the people who live there apparently aren't interested. Well, also, I think they're natives, so that Homestead Act would not look great.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be real bad. We'd be reliving some traumas that happened.
Yeah, we can mail some COVID blankets over there, right?
Yeah, I don't see why he would make this statement. He made a joke about it like 4 years ago, which I thought was hilarious. But now he's actually saying it for real, which I don't really understand. It's closer to Russia, but it's not closer than Alaska is to Russia.
True. Well, I guess for the East Coast.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a perfect segue. You know, if we're looking for natural resources, Alaska has it all. All of it. I mean, lithium, diamonds, gold. I mean, we could spend $10 billion maybe and set up an interstate highway system over there, you know, for the sake of national security, and start pulling that stuff out of the ground. That's why
I would demand that we could bring no guns there, though, because I want to see these workers fight off grizzly bears in hand-to-hand combat. That's what I want. There are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of grizzly bears in Alaska. And the idea of putting a highway system through that would be very entertaining to watch. How many freaking grizzly bears would be attacking excavators and dump trucks and all those pieces of equipment would be really entertaining. They should definitely make a show out of it if this ends up happening.
Well, and then was it the Bear Grylls show? Was it Man vs. Wild?
Yeah.
There were only 2 places he ever had to be rescued from. One of them was the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia. And then the other one was the Alaskan wilderness.
Wow.
Because the mosquitoes are like the size of your hand, apparently, like just prehistoric mosquitoes, like stuff that killed the mammoths.
Dude,
and he just couldn't take it.
Yeah, those mosquitoes, man. I've seen videos of like hunting trips up there. It's wild what the mosquitoes, like we think the mosquitoes are bad in Georgia. They're like sneaky little ninja mosquitoes here. Up there, they're like kamikaze dive bombing mosquitoes that are enormous. They're bombing you with like B-52s. They're not little tiny fighter jets.
I've heard in like far north Canada and like the oil fields and stuff too, they have like horrible black flies that'll just bite the crap out of you.
Yes.
And they're like just biting the moose and all stuff. Like you'll see a moose, it won't even look like a moose because it's so eaten up. It's like a mangy dog or something. And then, you know, they also shed their antlers. So you see one that's all manged and bitten up and no antlers. You're just like, what is that?
Oh yeah, the cows will drown themselves to get away from the black flies.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No wonder people hate Canada. No wonder they're drinking themselves to death up there.
Right.
Goodness gracious.
So what if we're trying to buy Greenland so we have a place for all of Puerto Rico's trash?
Are you talking about the people or the
No, that they have a legit sanitation problem.
Oh, I know. Rogan has detailed it 100 times since Hinchcliffe made that joke.
You know, I thought that was just an excuse after the fact too, but I was listening to Kill Tony and he's like, they have a trash problem. And I'm like, I did not know you actually knew that. I thought that was just something we were all running with.
We do have the Gates mosquitoes here in Georgia. That is very true. That freaking Bill Gates dropping all those freaking mosquitoes on us.
Yeah, well, they came from the southern border, though. I don't think he dropped them here. Go figure. Southern border causing problems again.
Yeah.
Didn't they do some crazy test in Savannah way back when, like dropping mosquitoes? I'm fairly sure that was like some CIA bull crap.
They've done that here in Atlanta,
like in Savannah, Georgia.
In Atlanta. They've done it in like Tampa area. They've done it like all over the Southeast.
Oh, geez. You don't have to drop any new ones in Atlanta. I mean, you can go to some of those vacant lots downtown and kick around the kudzu and you get some things coming up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's very Here it is. Operation Big Buzz was a U.S. military entomological warfare field test conducted in 1955 on Savannah, Georgia. Not in Savannah, but on Savannah, Georgia. In the predominantly black Carver Village neighborhood, the test involved dispersing over 300,000 mosquitoes from aircraft and throughout ground dispersal methods, which I think they just drove around in cars, literally letting mosquitoes out too. And I think it was like, you know, I guess nothing wrong with these mosquitoes, but, you know, they can infect them with something. And that's what they were testing to see if they could do biological warfare through mosquitoes.
Can you
and
imagine,
I bet you they found out they could.
Can you imagine being a mosquito and being flung out of an airplane? How like jarring that would be.
Yeah.
Man. All of a sudden, yeah, you're going, what, 100 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour in the air. And you're a little, I mean, how many just exploded as soon as they went outside? Probably a lot.
Exhausting. Like you'd have to stop for a bird on the way down.
Well, I think we can all agree that the purchase of Greenland would be stupid and in no way has any effect on our national security or our freedom in general. I think it's an idiotic thing to say.
Yeah, I think I'll just call it. I think if they want to do it so they can put missiles there to deter Russia and China or whatever, because shoot them over the Arctic Circle and you're a lot closer than wherever we have them now.
Or just in case we really do have that polar shift everyone keeps talking about.
Yeah.
You know, the North and South poles actually flip. You know, that might be like the one safe place to go, and he knows it.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Maybe there's an entrance to inner Earth.
Oh, maybe. That's interesting. So with Greenland, it's extremely big. I think what, like 90% of it's covered in ice. Are we sure there's even land under most of that ice? Like, what if Greenland's just that 10% and the rest is just an iceberg?
Well, maybe that's our national security. It's fresh water.
There we go. I like that. All right. Anybody else got anything on the Greenland purchase?
I just know, like you just said, Greenland's mostly ice and Iceland is mostly green. They were named that way on purpose.
Yeah, Iceland's mostly beautiful. That's what Iceland is. Iceland's one of the best places on earth. Go there. Highly recommend. $250 round trip flight from Atlanta. Highly recommend. It's expensive once you're there, though. Just rent a car and camp. All right. The next one, which I really wish Alden was here for, is CIA docs claim life did exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people who built pyramids. I'll read a little bit of this for y'all. While NASA is searching for life on Mars, a CIA document claims it was found 40 years ago. The report, Mars Exploration, May 22nd, 1984, details how the agency used astral projection, the idea that a person's spirit can travel through the astral plane, to transport a subject to Mars approximately 1 million years BC. The study was part of Project Stargate, a secret U.S. Army unit established in 1977 that focused on anomalous phenomena, including remote viewing, telepathy, and psychokinesis. Participants were exposed to sounds like binaural beats and hemisync audio to induce altered states of consciousness and promote psychic abilities. The experiment's subject was transported to the planet during the specified year, reporting an oblique view of a pyramid and a very large road with a monument similar to those known among ancient Egyptians on Earth, the report claims. We can go on, but the article is actually pretty long.
Well, and this is, oh gosh, what's the guy's name now? Why am I blanking out on this?
Ingo Swan.
No. It's like Corey Good, and this guy's got a channel on Gaia. It's going to bother me now. But anyways, so this guy, he's definitely a U.S. Marine. He can prove that. But he finished his service. He said he was in the Marine Corps for like 20 years. And then he retired, and he had a problem that there was like this blank spot for like the last 10 years of his career with the Marine Corps. He couldn't remember it. And so he started undergoing hypnosis. And through hypnosis, he found out that he was actually on this Martian colony that we have, that there's actually, like, we actually have like stargates, like jump portals where we can go back and forth. But the only thing is, when you come back, they wipe you. So you don't really remember it.
The show Severance is based on something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, that show's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
There was some other guy who, I don't remember if it was this project or what, but he was saying like he discovered that he was in some project that he had no memory of, but when he went to that floor of the building, like everybody knew him and his work was there and all that, but I guess he had his memory wiped from it, supposedly.
Dude, that's wild.
But I wonder why this is in the news, or I don't know if we even call, what was that, the New York Post or Daily Mail or something, if it's news, but like there were other articles on this, and I just wonder what happened to make people start writing about Project Stargate all of a sudden.
Yeah. No, Nikki, it wasn't Graham Hancock. It was David Wilcock. Yeah. I mean, he had like entire multi-dozen episode shows, talking about torsion physics and, the universal mysteries and things like that. I mean, some of the stuff was neat. A lot of it, I mean, he was throwing out actual studies, but he was like it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Alex Jones had a baby. It was the only way I could describe it. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, weird dude. Talked about a lot of stuff, but he did a show. Yeah, right. One of the cocks. But yeah, he did a show. I think it was Corey Good. He did a show with, and Corey Good was the guy that was talking about how he was this Marine, and he was on the Martian colony that we have, and we have a jump port, and we're actually working with extraterrestrials out there, and it's all super secret because we as a whole are not a peaceful species, and so we're not really allowed to make the jump out there until we meet some universal standards. So they're just gonna they're gonna let us destroy ourselves in our own playpen until we get smart enough to actually make the jump, so to speak.
Yeah, it's interesting. The whole what's this remote viewing or whatever?
Well, remote viewing and astral projection are two different things. So
Okay,
astral
what's the
projection.
difference between the two? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, astral projection is, you're essentially sending your spirit outside of your body.
Mhm.
So you can experience real things in real time, but you don't really know what time you're experiencing them. If you're actually just trying to send them out, that's one thing. Like, if you're trying to do astral projection, just like, see what your house looks like from an aerial view, something like that. But, doing astral projection to a different time and a different place, it's really hard to hit that mark of what time. Now remote viewing is one of those things where it's, your spirit staying inside your body, but you're tapping into the collective unconscious, as Carl Jung called it.
Yeah.
And you're picking up on things that are there without yourself actually being there. It's like you're there in your mind's eye, but you're not. A piece of you is not actually there. And that sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but that's how we mapped out a lot of Soviet nuclear installations during the Cold War. Which, time frame on that article said the same thing. We actually had remote viewers for the government. There's a guy named Major Ed Dames. He was on Coast to Coast AM a whole lot. And, he used to go around doing lectures, and that was his big thing, was remote viewing. He would teach that to people. He would actually lead classes on that, because they were always all of his classes were somehow magically pinpointing this same cataclysmic event, the end of human civilization. They all picked up on the same event, same details, just from different angles, but they couldn't ever tell like when it was. And so that led him to kind of think that maybe, there are parallel dimensions, and this is where it gets really weird. Maybe there are parallel dimensions, and you're seeing the end of another Earth, of another time, another dimension, not yours. And it's kind of hard to separate all those.
This all smells like patchouli.
yeah, exactly. But there's a guy named Lynn Buchanan. He wrote a book about remote viewing. It was his job. He was an officer in the U.S. Navy. It was his job in the 80s to teach this stuff to people. He's got a great book on that. And like I said, Major Ed Dames. All these guys are incredibly coherent if you listen to them speak.
Yeah.
And then, the astral projection folks are the ones that get kind of weird, because that's when you start getting into like, the John Edwards types. They're like, hey, I talked to your old relative. He told me to tell you this, that kind of stuff. But that's, people talk about, going and reading their Akashic records. Supposedly there's a hall of records of all spiritual knowledge that you can go take part in, and all that kind of stuff. So it all gets into interdimensional planes on some level. But the remote viewing at least has netted some results for us on the government level for military applications.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think of that, but it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah. My only exposure to it has been watching the Y-Files, which is great. I love the Y-Files, so check that out. But basically what he distilled it down to is there were instances where these people gave them information in like very controlled environments where they couldn't have possibly known what the subject would be or what they were going to be seeing, that came back and they're like, oh my goodness, that was legit. And it resulted in intelligence that they couldn't have otherwise gotten. But also a lot of the times they would just be way off, and they'd be like, basically, here's some crazy false information that I saw.
Yeah.
And
like
they couldn't
their
differentiate
was
enough
like
to use it.
35% accurate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a baseball player only has to be 30% accurate to be a good player. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say Chipper Jones got in the Hall of Fame with a 31%. So
Trumpy says it's the White Files. I feel like the White Files would probably be better, but it's the Y Files, right? Not the X Files.
WHY.
Oh, I was
Y.
thinking literally just the letter Y, like a
no.
rip off of the X Files.
Oh, that would have made more sense, honestly. They should have talked to you first.
see, and a lot of this stuff is what we declassified, because Obama and Putin had a mutual agreement. Putin declassified all of the Soviet UFO files, and then Obama was supposed to reciprocate. And then all he declassified was Project Bluebeam, which, what we're referring to as Project Bluebeam today, is not what was declassified. They just, they renamed the project and then gave them a Project Bluebeam, and some other things like that. Project Stargate, stuff that was all 30, 40 years old, basically. You know, it's like, here, have that. And so we did share those. That was the back and forth with Obama and Putin. And I think Trump was supposed to have some kind of tit for tat with him. I'm not sure what all really happened there. You know, we had some stuff that was leaked, you know, like the blueprints for the TR-3B, you know, the triangular shaped UFO with the light in the center.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a patent for that.
Man-made.
Yeah. There's a patent for that.
Or
You know,
is
we're
it-
calling it a UFO, and it's the military owns the patent for the TR-3B.
Is it probably a alien reproduction vehicle, or just like we figured out how to make something cool looking?
Well, the story is we reverse engineered what we recovered from Roswell back in
Yeah,
47.
there we go. Reproduction.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Weirdly, I just looked it up. The project leader for Project Stargate was James Clapper. So Obama's national security or director of national
dang.
intelligence.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's an interesting discovery. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting article. I don't know much about any of this kind of thing. I don't believe that there was civilization on Mars. But
Well, there was.
Really
That's what they're
weird
saying.
that the face and the pyramids, a lot of weird things.
Yeah, maybe there was like, I mean, just like the Earth, you know, Graham Hancock stuff or Jimmy Corsetti, where they're like, there could have been an ancient civilization. Then there was a cataclysm that erased all evidence of it. Like, you know, the crust of the Earth is now in the middle. It's on fire or whatever. We would never know it's here. I mean, that could have happened on Mars. I doubt it too, but
That's what some folks are saying. You know, I
Yeah.
have heard that there was, you know, there was an ancient civilization because you could see it. There was evidence of, you know, something that looked like a rail line, you know, some bridges and things like that. Now, of course, it's like we scanned it with a potato, and you're having to blow that up and theorize what that picture really is. I mean, it's amazing. Like my doorbell camera can pick up my neighbor's credit card information from his front porch, but you know what we're up there filming Mars with is like my first Nokia phone.
yeah, which didn't even have a camera. So
Yeah, right, exactly. But what they're saying is that we've taken soil samples. It wasn't the Curiosity rover. It was like the first one we sent up, like in the 90s. I forget the name of that one. They're saying that the soil samples show like a high presence of xenon or something like that. And so they're saying that there was, you know, it was like an atomic bomb, but it was like a xenon bomb, and it you know blew up the atmosphere basically and made the whole planet habitable.
Sojourner.
There you go.
Yeah, Sojourner rover. Should remember that. It's in The Martian, which is a very fun movie. It's not as good,
now,
but it's a fun movie. What'd you say, Zach?
sorry, I was starting to talk and then my dog started digging in his crate and it was really loud. But it's like now, you know, millions of years from now, somebody can find those rovers and be like, there was a civilization on Mars.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we don't, maybe all that stuff was just like the Anunnaki stopping there and looking for gold or something. And they found it one more planet over.
Yeah, there you go. They built the pyramid and they're like, not enough magnetism. Can't harness this energy. Move on.
This planet sucked. Let's try again.
Yeah.
I like that idea. All right, y'all. I think it's time. All freaking right. Zach, can you hit the
music
for me, please? All right, y'all. Welcome to Libations Trivia. This is my version of trivia. This is not Zane's version. Zane's version is far more Zane and zany and ridiculous, and he would say highbrow. This is not that. So, welcome to Libations Trivia. The categories are This Day in History, Boxing Day, and Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
The rules, round 1 is 10 questions, round 2 is 5 questions, round 3 is 3 questions, 1, 2, and 3 points each, respectively. Audience can win. I will keep an eye on the audience, and let me pull up a scoreboard real quick so that I can actually keep score properly. Maybe I'll just create a new note. Scoreboard. Zach, Steven, audience. There we go. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me get down to the bottom of the comments.
There's a 67% chance I'm getting my butt kicked. So,
We'll see. The final round is actually Christmas movies in the form of riddles.
Ooh.
Yeah. Question number 1. On this day in 1972, what president died? Steven.
Kennedy.
Incorrect.
John F.
That was in the 60s.
That's right.
69.
Giggity.
Steven, I love you so much. Zach, you got a guess, man?
Yeah, I'll go with Gerald Ford.
Incorrect.
Darn.
Back open to the floor.
I'm assuming they weren't president at the time.
They were not president at the time.
I would have heard about that.
I guess I should have said what former president died.
Oh,
My bad.
that was not my guess, by the way.
I was never going to get there. Yeah.
Harry Truman was the one. My finger slipped. I apologize. No one got it right. Grumpy said Abraham Lincoln.
Some quack me and you were on track there. I was going to say Eisenhower also.
Eisenhower would have been a good guess.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. On this day in 1941, FDR established the modern celebratory date of what holiday? Zach.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is correct. Bravo, man.
One president tried to change it. They wanted more time for Christmas shopping, so they made it earlier, and like just nobody followed it. They're like, nah, we're going to do the regular traditional time.
That's funny. Some quack got it right after you.
I mean, so wasn't it based on like the original feast at Jamestown?
There was something saying like, I forget what it was, but they actually laid out like third Thursday or something like that. And that's what people went by.
Okay.
But I don't know. I forget what it's based on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fourth Thursday of the month is what we go by in modern standards, but it's supposed to mimic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to mimic the original feast at Jamestown.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. All right. Question number 3. On this day in 1973, what terrifying satanic movie opened in theaters, Steven?
Exorcist.
The Exorcist is correct. Good job.
Probably the best intro theme since the Gremlins.
Oh, man. That movie was terrifying.
The Gremlin? Yeah, it scared the crap out of me as a kid. It was in the comedy section at the video store, and I saw this cute little gremlin. My parents rented it for me, and I went home and scarred myself for life. I've still never seen it again.
That's so good. All right. Question number 4. On this day in 1776, George Washington won America's first major battle in what city? Steven.
Dover.
No. I love the guess, though. Zach, you got a guess?
I suddenly can't think of any cities.
Come on, audience. Y'all can get this one. Let's go. Gosh, Grumpy's on a roll tonight. Hong Kong is not correct. All right, Steven, back to you.
Yorktown.
No, that was to end the war.
Ah. Well, you gotta finish where you started.
Wasn't Yorktown the final one?
I'm not the one to ask, apparently.
I think it was the final.
I've been there and I don't know.
Man, no one knows this? Really?
I'll go with Concord.
No, incorrect. This is in the Garden State.
Ooh, that's why we don't know it.
Steven? I mean, Zach?
Trenton.
Trenton, New Jersey.
That's the only
Still
city.
a war zone.
It's the only city there, y'all.
Yeah, right.
Question number 5. On this day in 1917, the U.S. government nationalizes most of what industry? Goodness gracious. Zach?
Oil?
Incorrect. Steven?
Power.
No. We're going to give the audience 5 seconds before y'all can answer again. In fact, I think at some point, Grumpy says steel. That is incorrect. Zach, go ahead.
Railroad?
railroads is correct.
Oh,
How about that? All right. Some quack said gold. No, that was a little later. That was in the 40s.
yeah.
30s or 40s?
That was in the 40s. That was FDR. That's when we
Yeah,
that's when we had the Japanese Holocaust over here.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to ignore.
Question number 6. On this day in 1996, the body of what 6-year-old is found? Zach.
Well, I was gonna say John Bonet, but did they ever find her? So that could be wrong. Oh, never mind. Here we go.
Oh, way to go!
John Bonet Ramsey is correct. Question number 7. On this day in 1946, Bugsy Siegel opens what famous casino/hotel in Las Vegas? One of the originals. Zach.
The Flamingo.
No way.
Is correct. Zach is on a
way.
freaking roll, y'all.
Bugsy Siegel was a swinger. Who knew?
See, I just need time to think. When Zane's here, it's all this boom, boom, boom. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Time to think is good.
Yeah.
So I think eventually, actually very soon, I think we will transition to you write it down and then you hold up your
Mhm.
answers. Because I like that much better because then every audience member can get their guess in. And yeah, it'll be far more evenly weighted for the audience, which will be fun. Actually, it'll even be more tipped towards the audience at that point. Question number 8. On this day in 1820, Moses Austin asked Spain for permission to settle a colony of 300 families in what area? Stephen.
I saw the year after I raised my hand, so I would say Texas.
Texas is correct.
Wow.
Bravo, Stephen. It eventually led to Texas gaining its independence. They should never have let 300 families settle there because that led to 25,000 families coming to settle there and then revolt.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and
Jake.
they only went there. No, because they came up through Mexico. Never mind.
Grumpy Gnome says Gaza. Zach, what did you say before that?
So all that led to you, finally.
There we go. You're darn right. All that led to me being born. All right. Question number 9. On this day in 2004, India suffered from what natural disaster, Stephen?
Tsunami.
Tsunami is correct. Bravo, Stephen. Final question of round 1. My brain is not working properly tonight. I have messed up so many words. I'm not even drinking. Lord have mercy. All right, here we go. On this day in 1966, the inaugural celebration of what holiday occurred? Zach?
Boxing Day?
Nope.
Oh.
Stephen?
Inaugural celebration of
First ever.
President's Day.
On this day? No.
No, not at all.
Zach?
The third day of Christmas.
So Quack says MLK Day. Grumpy says 4th of July. Lord have mercy. Y'all, this is not a hard one. Stephen?
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa is correct.
Yeah.
We even talked about that. I completely
We
forgot.
talked about it before the show, you ding. Or no, during the show.
Yeah.
I got Eric Erickson to call me out by name. This was like 6 or 7 years ago. Because he was like the only one in the studio. He was talking about how all the lights were off and all this kind of stuff. And I tweeted him and I said, Happy Kwanzaa. And he died laughing. He was like, Happy Kwanzaa to you too, Steven. I'm like, ah!
That's great. All right. Round 2. After one round, Zach has 5. Steven has 4. The audience has a whopping goose egg. Good job, audience. All right. Round number 2, Boxing Day. Question number 1. The holiday of Boxing Day originated in what country, Stephen?
England.
The United Kingdom. I'll give it to you.
There you go. Because that's three countries.
I was going to say Canada. It's not good.
It's 4 countries, Stephen.
What?
England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland.
Northern. Okay. Yep.
He doesn't
Nikki
recognize
wants
Northern
to know
Ireland.
where Hannah is. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, question number 2. What was the original intent of Boxing Day? Ooh, that was Zach.
Pack up all your crap and give it away.
That was not the original intent. No.
Okay.
Stephen.
To eat your leftovers.
No.
What are British people up to?
Grumpy says boxing. Incorrect.
You know they have some weird word for boxing, like
Stephen.
jolly punch time.
To take down your decorations.
No, Stephen. Incorrect. After Zach guesses one more time, I'll give a hint.
Original intent of boxing. I have literally no idea. I'll just go with giving. I don't know. Giving presents to poor people.
I'm going to give it to you. Giving
Wow.
gifts or money to servants and tradespeople.
Wow. Okay. I
Wow.
knew it had to have something to do with charity, but that's it. So
Yeah, there were some definitions that said the less fortunate, poor people. Some quack says Christmas for atheists. That's great. Question number 3. Which animal-related activity is a traditional Boxing Day event in rural parts of England? Zach.
a fox hunt.
Fox hunt is correct. Good job. Didn't think anybody was going to get that one. Question number 4. Which Commonwealth country is known for its tradition of Boxing Day parades and Junkanoo Festival? Zach.
The Bahamas.
What?
Is correct.
These are all
What?
just blind guesses, by the way.
God.
Zach is the best guesser I've ever seen. I thought there was no chance somebody was getting that one. Wow. Bravo. All right. Question number 5. In Australia, what major sporting event traditionally begins on Boxing Day? Zach.
Some sort of rugby crap.
Nope. Steven.
Cricket.
Cricket
man.
is correct.
I changed to rugby from cricket.
You said some kind of rugby crap, too. All right. After 2 rounds, Zach has 11. Steven has 8. The audience has 0. Technically, the audience can only get second place, but it is open for either Zach or Steven to win. Grumpy has now guessed cockfighting in 2 different questions. All right. Round 3. Christmas movies. Question 1. Question, should I read these? No, I'll let you read them because they're slightly confusing sometimes. I follow 2 who used to perform to save an inn and weather the storm. Snow, love, and music are my domain in this colorful Christmas refrain. Zach.
Sorry, are we guessing the song or the movie?
You're guessing the movie.
I'll go with White Christmas.
White Christmas is correct. All right, Steven, in order to tie, you have
I've
to
got a clean
connect
house.
2. Yep.
Totally possible, by the way.
Question number 2. A father who fibs to sell a toy embarks on a journey for his boy. Hilarity ensues on Christmas Eve in this chaotic film you won't believe.
Oh, man. I know, but I don't know. I can picture it. I'm watching it in my head right now.
Steven?
It's the it's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he's like some kind of superhero thing. I don't know the name of the movie. Dang it.
You have 10 seconds.
I mean, it's like a red character. There's like a lightning bolt involved. Man,
Open to the
why
floor.
is it evading me right now? Yep.
Everyone knows who's in it. No one knows what it's called. Legacy Zach, Says jingle all the way, doofus. That's correct. It's jingle all the way.
Yes.
That is not the one I was thinking. There's like some older movie where there's a toy salesman. I don't know if it's Christmas though, is the problem. And he
Perfect.
I don't know. Just nonsense ensues. So
Fair
Puppet
enough.
Master?
no, that doesn't ring a bell, but also can't think of it. So
All right. Question number 3. Zach has it in the bag, but we're going to do it anyway. Steven, make yourself proud, man.
That's right.
In black and white, my tale is told about a man whose dreams grow cold. An angel shows what life would lack if he hadn't walked his destined track.
I love this movie. I can't think of the name because I can't be put on the spot.
In black and white, my tale is told about a man whose dreams grow cold. An angel shows what life would lack if he hadn't walked his destined track. It is not The Christmas Carol.
That's good, but
Steven.
It's a Nicolas Cage movie, isn't it? Where he's like a tire salesman.
Audience gets it.
yeah, it's a Jimmy Stewart movie, right? Yeah, I love that. It's my
It's
favorite
a
Christmas movie.
Wonderful Life.
Yeah, there we go.
Correct. Bravo. After 3 rounds, Zach wins 14-8 to 6. Steven, you still hung on to that second place. Bravo. Zach, good job, buddy. All right, everyone. Thank y'all for playing Libations Trivia. That was one of our fastest rounds of all time. That took less than 16 minutes.
Well, because instead of having 4 people talk, tell a story after each one, just me and Steven.
Yeah, rather than having Nick and Alden just make jokes about whatever the answer is, we just powered through. And then Zane's great at coming up with trivia. He's less good at commanding that you obey him during trivia.
Right. Well, I think
on the
I think
other
he's
hand-
really interested in what we have to say about each question too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's me. If I remember to do trivia, then I like it when people just go off on tangents and talk because I'm like, this is less I have to prepare for. But
Perfect. All right, y'all. This is the section of the show where we basically just talk anything philosophical, any ideas that we have from the past week or two, anything that's on our minds. I don't know. Is there anything that y'all have been pondering over the past week since last week's episode? As far as liberty, freedom, individual rights, anything like that? Steven?
I mean, we're kind of bouncing around, but I mean, I'm still watching those crypto prices. Because Jerome Powell was kind of beating his chest at the last meeting. So they cut interest rates again.
Yep.
And he felt the need to, for one of the few times in his career, to address cryptocurrency.
Yeah, he did.
He was trying to assert dominance over an entire sector that he does not control at all.
Yeah.
Saying that his decision on interest rates is going to affect crypto prices, although he has no interest in ever holding crypto. I think that was pretty interesting. I mean, there was a little bit of a drop, but it seems like it's coming back now. I think Bitcoin's at 96 as of tonight. Let me see. Yeah, 96 right now.
Yep.
Litecoin is all over the place. So if you've got the stomach to do the volatility swing trade stuff, I mean, Litecoin's fluctuating 20% every other week.
Jeez, look at this. Speaking of crypto, North Korean hackers heisted over $308 million worth of Bitcoin. Y'all, this is why you keep your Bitcoin in a cold wallet. Just quit putting it on freaking servers. What's up, Kevin? Welcome to the show. I don't know if you've ever commented on Liberty Libations. Y'all, Kevin is in the show, The Cascade Effect, with myself that I'm producing up in Montana.
Oh, cool.
One of the investigators looking into the murder that occurred up there. At the very least, I don't know. What's the one right below murder? It's not manslaughter. Maybe it is.
Homicide?
Huh?
I mean, homicide, I guess, is any killing of a person, but
Yeah. I forget what we're labeling it at this point in time, but yeah.
Just remember though, you can't spell
Absolutely.
manslaughter without laughter.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, I thought it was man's laughter. I kid you not. It's like, who is going to jail for man's laughter? This is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, man. The whole crypto world is interesting right now. I don't really give a crap about anything other than Bitcoin, as anybody who watches this show for more than 2 seconds knows. Yeah, if you want to go try to make some money with those other shit coins, go for it. You know, just know that you're probably going to lose your money. I don't like, that's just how it is. Zach said, I will accept man's laughter.
Right.
Fair enough. I've said it just about 1 million times. Just buy Bitcoin. You're not buying a product. You're buying into the future financial system, and you're getting a head start sooner than most people on Earth. Only 2% of people on Earth have adopted Bitcoin as currency, and you could increase that number and get in very, very early. Like everybody, whenever it goes up, people think it's then too late. But then when it drops, they're like, well, it's still too expensive to buy, or it's going down, so why would I buy it? And then it goes right back up because that's just what it does. It's going to continue to go up over a long period of time. Mm-hmm. And it's just not too late to buy Bitcoin.
So the whole using it as currency part, I've got to admit this. So I do hold Bitcoin. I've held some Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, for the last 8 years ongoing. Mm-hmm. One thing that frustrated me, I mean, this was back in like 2019, was going to Mellow Mushroom and buying a pizza and a pitcher of beer. The transaction took over 30 minutes to process.
Yep. Now it doesn't.
So if you're going to use it as currency, is that fixed? Like, is that?
Oh, dude, heck yeah.
Okay.
I've sent Bitcoin to somebody in under 3 seconds.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it sounded like they were probably requiring 3 confirmations, which is what people used to do a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit excessive. Like, I don't know, even 1 would be fine, and then 0, I don't know. I feel like you take some risk in business anyway. Like, people can do a credit card chargeback or give you a fake dollar bill or whatever. So I would be okay, probably just like no confirmations. Like, it's probably fine. Maybe I'll get got every now and then, but
100%, man. Like, I generally wait for 1 confirmation until I'm happy. But that does not take very long, and you can pay more in fees to have it go quicker if you want to. Kevin asks, what's the least amount needed to get to start?
$1.
$1, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Grumpy says 1 cent. Yeah, very true. I would just start. I generally, when I started, I think we started with $100, just to test it out, see how it went. Because it's a big leap. It's definitely different than just putting your money into a bank account. Because that's, I don't know. There's something about that that's far more intuitive than putting it onto a wallet or anything like that. And
it's intuitive for us. It wasn't intuitive for like our grandparents or their grandparents, for sure.
That's true.
I mean, banks have existed for a while, but we're from the South where people were putting it under their mattress, and that was intuitive, or in gold.
I mean, my grandparents didn't trust writing checks.
Yeah. Exactly.
So there's always going to be that level of distrust, and that's what keeps the financial sector honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, when you get down to it, I mean, it's as far as, can somebody get in and steal it? I mean, the only vulnerability is yourself at that point, if you're using the cold wallet, like Jake says. Now if you're trusting Coinbase, we have seen in recent years that in times of high volatility, they will shut down trading windows. Mm-hmm. Nothing comes in or out. They will lower the gate, and that's it. And because what was it? There was Bitcoin had like a 30% pop overnight.
Yeah.
Coinbase shut it down.
Yep. Wow. And that is not that's not the only time that's ever happened. This is like I'm sure there are other places that are really good to buy. The only place I ever suggest people buy is Swan Bitcoin. They actively fight against government regulation. They try to fight against the KYC laws, the Know Your Customer laws. They specifically tell you to take your Bitcoin out of our wallets and put it in your own cold wallet.
Make it really easy.
There's almost no other company that does that. They don't want to hold your Bitcoin, but they want you in Bitcoin. It's amazing. They're a great company.
I just looked up that North Korea hack and they hacked an exchange. So that may be part of why they do that, is because they don't want to hold $305 million. I'm sure they do. They don't want to hold $305 billion and have North Korean hackers come steal that.
Do you know what the monthly bill is for that? Like, if you have to insulate yourself from a state level hack, like, I mean, like, that's a military, and North Korea, from what I understand, has one of the most sophisticated hacking teams on the planet. Was it Bureau 13 or something like that they have?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, because, well, people there, I mean, like, we learned from the Sochi Olympics, back in Russia, was like, if you're on the North Korean Olympic team and you fail, like, you don't come back with a medal, they kill your family. I mean, like, that's brutal over there. And so imagine what their hacking team is like. Like, I'm gonna get everything off this exchange, or my family's dead. Like, you're gonna put everything you got into it. And I think it's Bureau 13. It's Bureau something, North Korean hacking team.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were, China's hack. China does plenty of the hacking themselves, but like, if you need to call somebody where you can later deny it, call North Korea. So.
Legacy Zach asked a question earlier that says he prefers tangible, decentralized, and private chains. Thoughts about Xano? I don't know anything about it. I just looked up the website. I'll have to look into that. Honestly, man, I don't do much. I did tons and tons and tons of research into tons of coins and chains and all sorts of stuff 2 or 3 years ago, and for the couple of years before that. And then once I realized that Bitcoin's the only one that I need and the only one that I want, then I pretty much just stopped. So I don't know. I'll look into this one and see what it's about. I mean, I looked a little bit into Monero, which is another privacy-based one. And
I like Monero.
There are benefits to it.
Yeah,
for sure. I like
it's
that.
The one thing that keeps me from probably being like full Bitcoin maximalist is the soft spot for Monero. Yeah,
fair enough. Says thoughts on why El Salvador is retarded with their Bitcoin adoption. In what way? In what way are they retarded with their Bitcoin adoption?
I'll say President Bukele was just beating his chest about what a great investment it was.
Yeah, I mean, they're using their local volcanoes to mine Bitcoin. Like that all sounds pretty good to me.
I got to do a little bit of the same, not mine with a volcano. That'd be awesome. But,
gosh, I would have loved if you'd have mined with a volcano, man.
Like, we had an early Christmas at my mom's house. So I went over there and I'm talking to my family about Bitcoin. It just comes up and I'm like, seriously, just like buy a little bit. Dollar cost averaging. I, told my brother-in-law about it. He like bought some right then and there. And that was like the day before it hit 100,000. And I'm like, man, I look good now. Like,
nice. Yeah, man. I could go on and on about Bitcoin. And I have. If you go look at the Free Georgia podcast, I've made full episodes solely about Bitcoin and how to adopt it and how to get into it and how to hold it. And I did a whole series on Bitcoin. And yeah, when we go on and on, but most people watching have heard me talk about this to no end. So I don't know. Steven, you got anything else about crypto right now?
I mean, it is good on Trump for calling it a national security issue.
Yeah.
The strategic reserve and this, that, and the other. And I mentioned last week that down here in rural Georgia, there's people with Asian names that are, building Bitcoin farms.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even need to own the property. You get a lease on 2 or 3 acres, and you can put up, what was it? The ant miners or the ant box. They fit on the back of an 18-wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
And you get
on the back of an 18-wheeler.
You get 12 of those. You get a well to cool it all, and you're in. I mean, you're not even pulling money out of the ground. You're pulling money literally out of thin air at that point.
Yep. It's amazing. I mean, same basic idea on a much smaller scale in my house is 2 little heat bits, 2 little heaters that are that heat the room by mining Bitcoin. Yeah, if you want some passive thing that actually has a practical use, go look up HeatBit. It's
Is that part of a pool?
It's just a heater that is an air purifier. Here, I'll pull it up. It's an air
But
purifier.
are you like mining solo, or do you get like small portions of the reward by being part of a pool? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because like I mined back in the day, like talking about like 2011, 2012, but I never hit a block and never got a reward. So I only was able to do it as part of a pool.
I'm assuming it's probably part of a pool. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's part of a pool because you can choose to share you can pay less upfront for the heater and share your earnings with them.
That's neat.
Yeah. Dude, it earns far more than what you pay in electricity to keep it running. I mean, it's wild. Yeah. So HeatBit Trio, which is what we have, is $900 now. We got it when it was a Kickstarter.
You're not sharing if you mean to be. I don't know, but
what?
If you're meaning to be sharing, you're not.
There we go.
Hey, there it is.
My bad. HeatBit. That's the one. So that's what it looks like. Looks like a little, what are those air purifiers called?
Like a Dyson.
It's kind of like a Dyson. Yeah. And it'll show like you basically just earn every day, man. It's wonderful. It's only a heater. So like, if you're not going to be running it during the summer. I mean, we did run it during the summer. We just, made an exhaust to go outside. So you're mining no matter what.
I'll say, if you've already been in the cryptosphere, you've been in tune with it for a long time, specifically Bitcoin. What's his name? Roger Ver. He has a petition up that he needs you to sign. He's in some heat for some BS, simply for bucking the system.
He's not even an American citizen anymore.
Right. He is our generation's Erwin Schiff, and he needs your help. And simply entering your name into a web form can help that. They promise not to spam email you. All they will email you is updates on his case and how that's going. It's just about popular enough. He's about to be in front of Trump. I'm sure the Trump team has already been talking to him. But he is a huge candidate for a pardon, along with Julian Assange and Ross Ulbricht. So I mean, I don't know that he's the Bitcoin Jesus, that is his nickname, but he is definitely a political prisoner. The IRS is trying to skewer him, even though he's not an American citizen anymore. And signing the petition does not put you on any kind of government list. It merely lets a judge know that people are on board with his cause.
Yep.
And this isn't the first time he was sent to prison, or could be, hopefully he won't be, but for some bull crap.
Yeah.
Because he was sent way back in the day for selling like basically M80s that people would use on farms to scare off hogs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like Tractor Supply or like Overstock.com or places like this were selling them too. And the ATF specifically went after him and put him in prison for it. And the day he got out, he says he renounced his U.S. citizenship, or at least started the process. I'm sure it's a multi-day thing.
Wow.
Moved to Japan. Citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis because he's rich and can buy one. So
there we go. Kevin asks, he would like to say Bitcoin for the services his small tutoring pod school provides. How is way over my head. Any web pages I could go to learn a how-to for dummies? Oh, that's a good question. Accepting it through a website is a little bit more difficult. One of the best places I know of is BitPay. There are definitely some government security measures on there, but BitPay,
that's what our affiliate uses, is BitPay.
Yeah, BitPay is very good, and they'll walk you through it. BitPay, BitPay.com, and then I mean other things I use are Strike, which is Jack Mahler, who I freaking love. Jack Mahler's company is Strike. That's a good one. You can put that on your website and stuff. What else do I use?
If you're super nerdy, you can run your own with BTC Pay Server, which I run one. I don't really use it a lot, so I might actually spin it down, but I don't sell anything online either. But you're
Except
running
your
it
pretty face.
completely yourself, and you can run Lightning Node, you can run regular Bitcoin Pay, and it integrates with WordPress and WooCommerce and all the stuff you may use on a website.
Oh wow, I did not know that. That's pretty cool. All right, well, yeah, there you go, Kevin. Well, y'all, it is time for Drunkard of the Week.
I am not fucking drunk.
My teeth are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Beatles, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
Still funny. All right, this is one of the, I don't know, somebody who works at the ECB. So just enjoy this idiocy.
Hi besties, time to enter your banking supervision era. We are looking for some nonchalant trainees to join our ECB squad. This is our trainee Livia, the CEO of Spreadsheets. See how she's goating Excel? Very demure, very mindful. Another day, another sleigh. Keeping Europe's banking system safe and sound. Period. Coffee breaks with work besties from all over Europe hit different. The euro symbol? Iconic. She's serving main characters energy all day. Assessing the risk profile of a bank? Girl math. Working from home? Bet. A big day of meetings got you in your delulu? Step outside. Touch some grass. We are not like other central banks. We know it, and soon you will too. Time to hard launch your ECB era. Apply today for ultimate aura point.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like, are you kidding me with that crap?
That's worse than Elizabeth Warren's Ask Me Anything, where she's having a beer. And you can tell it's like she's just choking down a Sam Adams.
Dude, that's so much worse. This is a massive central bank putting out this advertisement on TikTok. Awful.
The format's kind of funny. Like, I get it. They're German. They're speaking English. So we're the audience, and it's ironic that she's so boring and monotone and she's saying all this hip Gen Z crap, but I just have to hate it because it's a central bank.
Have to,
or if it was any corporation, I wouldn't like it.
Yep. If we did this for Liberty Libations, I think I might like it.
If it was Zane,
you and Elizabeth
great
for Banished Big Brother, that'd be great. But this is garbage.
Oh, it's straight, like the Riz is straight Ohio.
Oh yeah, that was submitted by Nick. Steven, I've got yours on for next week, man. That one killed. I couldn't stop laughing. So y'all get a real good one next week. Yeah, the idea of trying to connect with like Gen Z or I guess it's Gen Alpha now. Is that what we're calling them, right?
For a little bit longer. There's going to be another one soon, unnamed.
Yeah, trying to connect with them through this stupid humor and using their dumb words is just
Delulu.
What?
Delulu?
It's Delulu.
It's Delulu. It's
Yeah.
totally Delulu. That was utterly painful to watch.
Isn't financial fascism so fun? Like, slay queen. Like, literally, we're going to slay people with this money we invent.
Exactly. So there's our Drunkard of the Week. If you would like to submit your own Drunkard of the Week, you can. The stipulations are it has to be a video, and it has to be somebody doing or saying something that can only be explained if they're drunk, but they're not.
Yeah. Both clown and epic.
Not Grumpy.
Good night, Grumpy.
Good night, Grumpy.
Yeah. We have two categories, clown and hero. Hero is somebody saying or doing something that they definitely probably shouldn't have said, but it's heroic and awesome. Clown is exactly what you just saw.
I mean, with this video too, it's pretty weird, like the timing, right? So like France just ran out their prime minister. Germany just ran out their prime minister.
Yeah. Romania.
Yeah,
We're United States, although we're not in Europe.
But there's like the Eurozone is in a tectonic political shift right now. You know, some would call it a collapse, but how do you call it a collapse when it's at a 10-year high against the dollar, which is at a 30-year high against the Japanese yen and the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar? Like, so it's just
anything to Canada.
Everything I've been taught about technical analysis as far as forex trading goes is off the table right now with like the currency pairs I'm looking at. You know, the euro at $1.04 and the British pound at $1.25 is nuts. Like none of this should be happening. And then the Swiss franc is at 90 cents. Like what?
So what do you think it is behind? Like it's something we obviously don't know about, or that we can't take into consideration, or something being done behind the scenes. So what do you think?
Make no mistake that we are in World War III, and we have been for years. How many years I can't really say right now. But it started before COVID. I mean, it was definitely, I would say, and I'm an amateur and I'm definitely not qualified to give financial advice, but you know, with what I know about Forex and currency pairs and this, that, and the other, I mean, just looking at like the value of money and how they interact and how, you know, certain alliances align with money and with certain assets, you know, say oil or textiles or, you know, wheat or, you know, like big money things or tech. All of that is just out of sync and has been for 5 years now. But I mean, more particularly the last 6 months, I mean, the US dollar being $1.44 Canadian is catastrophic for Canada. I mean, I'm serious. Like that, they want it to be between $1.20 and $1.25. That's, you know, that's where they like the channel. That's where it's been for most of my life. I mean, I've got comic books I bought when I was 7 years old that literally says, you know, $1 US, $1.25 Canadian. And I mean, it's been, and then, you know, in my adult life, as long as I've been paying attention to it, that's where we like it. And so, you know, for the dollar to be that much more, I mean, you think 20 cents isn't really that much, but you know, if you look at it in terms of 20%, that's huge. I mean, that's literally everyone's profit. If that's what they do is international trade. So, I mean, there's a lot of realignment going on right now. Much of it's not being talked about because, you know, government likes control more than anything. And if they let us know that they're not in control, then we take control very quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a whole lot of, you know, what's that meme, you know, with the house on fire and then the dog sitting at the table with the cup of coffee. It's fine. Everything's fine. You know, we're okay. That's what's going on. And you wouldn't think it would be coming from like the top 7 industrialized nations on the planet, but it is. I mean, Japanese yen is absolutely in the trash. Now, granted, they have a culture that is very disciplined, you know, very polite, and they're just like, well, I'll just change my way of life.
Yeah.
You know, they just kind of get along with it. You know, we tend to like 3% tax on whiskey. Phew, we're going to war.
Well, I've noticed too, if you take any of those currencies you just mentioned and compare it to gold, they're all down.
Yes.
So comparing them to each other may be a little hard if they're all just all over the place, but you know, gold's pretty stable, maybe, you know, 2% inflation a year or something.
It's not, you would think it would be proportional to like what reserves each country has, and maybe it really is, but based on data we're provided, it's not. Now, you know, against the US dollar, gold and silver are both up, even with them being down 10% since Christmas, or since the week before Christmas. I mean, they're both up 78, 80% this year. And gold and silver are proportionate, which is also kind of weird. You know, palladium is way down. Russia controls like 3/4 of the world's palladium. You cannot make gold jewelry without palladium. Because I remember when, you know, back in 2016, or 2015 rather, when Hillary Clinton was talking her crap about like, you know, even a cyber attack is an act of war. You know, if Russia gives us a cyber attack, because this is right after the Heartbleed attack hit, you know, Home Depot and Neiman Marcus and all the retailers, you know, everybody that swiped a credit card in any of these places had their stuff stolen. And it was really about 13-year-old Belarusians that somehow stole the CIA algorithm. that's a whole different story. But she was talking about, like that's a predication for a nuclear attack on Russia. And that was when I was telling my buddies too, because palladium at that time was like $800 an ounce. I was like, oh, dude, we need to buy some palladium. And it shot up to $1,500 an ounce, like within weeks.
Wow.
That's
Amazing.
the one scenario where you're like, we're going to nuke Belarus. And like, well, what about the children? It's like, no, they're the target. They have to.
Yeah, right.
Kevin, buddy, we covered this second topic of the night. No, we should not buy Greenland. That was the resounding response. Yeah, y'all, we've now entered the audience portion of the show. If y'all have any questions y'all want to throw our way, if you have any thoughts you want to throw out there that you want us to pontificate on, we can. Otherwise, we're just going to keep chatting about our own stuff and ignore y'all completely most of the time. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Biggest is not that gold is increasing, it's that it is holding its value like always. Yep.
Amen. Hallelujah.
100%.
You can only pull it out of the ground so fast. So there is a little bit of inflation, I guess. But then also, you have to assume some of it gets destroyed.
Some of it gets lost for sure.
Well, and as much as I hate electric vehicles, there's a solid state battery going to hit the market in the next year or two, because there's now like 3 different companies. Of course, China was the first, but there's 3 different companies right now. I think Samsung is even one of them, with a solid state EV car battery that's supposed to have a 600-mile range that'll fully charge within 45 minutes and have a 20-year shelf life.
Dang.
The catch, each one of these batteries holds a kilogram of silver.
Oh,
Meth heads are going to love that.
Oh,
yeah.
A lot of people are going to be getting their EVs stolen.
Yeah. And for all you Americans like me saying, what the hell's a kilogram? It's 2.25 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of silver.
Apparently our electronics have a lot of silver in them too, like motherboards and just phones and whatever else. It's just really hard to get to.
Legacy Zach is killing it tonight. Gold equals
exactly
upper, silver equals middle, copper equals working man's gold.
Just wait until the world figures out that silver has been artificially suppressed by the likes of Soros and others for years. And then this solid state battery hits the market, and now all of a sudden there's a need for multiple tens of millions of kilograms of silver all of a sudden. Imagine what that's going to do to the price.
I'm glad I have bins of it.
I mean, I went ahead and bought a few pounds just to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. What is that called?
Yeah. I forget what the Mandalorian money is called, but this is a silver bar that looks like it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is sick. Okay. I had something else. Well, Steven, we didn't get to go over it, man. How was your Christmas?
Oh, it was great, man. That's I was just talking about this, man, because my mom died in July of 2020. And she was kind of like the glue of the family, because, I mean, family in different parts of the country, blah, blah, blah. She kind of held everything together. And without her, none of it was really the same. And then, right after my mom died, my wife's mom went right downhill. And it was a long, dragged out downhill slide. We just lost her back in January. And it's just, and then past couple of years, like there was one year I was in the emergency room for super high blood pressure. Got that under control now. And then there was another year, like last year I had the flu. I mean, like the Christmas the last 5 years has been a freaking circus for me and my family, man. And this year everything came together. It was low stress, because I just always anticipated being horrible. I mean, really, like starting the day after Thanksgiving, always, family prayers at dinner. That's what I say is, Jesus, we're looking forward to your birthday, but I sure wish it wasn't a stressful party. And this year I got my wish. It was a good time, and happy birthday, Jesus. It was fantastic.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we had a good time too. Overall, and we don't have a house right now, but other than that, it was an unusual one. We had Christmas morning breakfast at Waffle House.
Yeah.
Just about the most Georgia thing you can do.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, good. I'm glad it went well for you. One of every 6 years isn't so terrible.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, all right, y'all. Well, this is the portion of the show where we get to the funnies. We show a bunch of funny clips and things that I found over the past week. But before we do, go to peacefulseed.network, sign up for the Dollar Media Club. You get access to a whole bunch of things, including discounts on merchandise, subscriber-only shows, documentaries, and movies that you can stream directly from our site. Very soon, well, not very soon, in the near future, we will have our own app that you will be able to download and stream anything you want from our network on through that app. And it will be awesome. You also have access to the Discord where all of us hang out and chat and send some of the stupidest things we can possibly find to each other. So yeah, it'd be fun to have y'all in there. So go over to peacefulseed.network, join the Dollar Media Club, and hope to see you there. Let's see. All right. The funnies. Here we go. I've got 5 for us tonight. First one is a stand-up comic. I have no idea who this is. Aiden Hammond is his name. There you go.
All right.
There's a professional soccer team in Chicago, and the name of this team is the Chicago Fire. Yeah, but I think that's messed up. You know, naming a team after a tragedy that has occurred in that city. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be like naming a team the Philadelphia Fentanyls. Yeah.
The Joplin Tornadoes.
That'd be like naming a team the New York Jets.
I thought that was a great one.
That was good.
Yeah, good little...
That's Osama's favorite team, by the way.
That's whose?
Osama. That's his favorite team.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. I'm sure it is.
He also played Animal Crossing or something.
All right, this is it's a little hard to see, so I apologize. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. Whoa.
I see it too well now.
Look at it.
Going from
Look at that dog.
Oh my God.
Dog. From side to side in the car, man. They're doing it again. I don't even know how he does it so quickly.
And of course, it's a Subaru.
Yeah, of course it's a Subaru.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go back down to it. All right.
I don't trust my dog with roll down windows.
Fair enough. In Oregon, wait. Yeah, in an Oregon town, the googly eyes bandit strikes again, and officials are up in arms.
Oh, it's in Bend, Oregon, too, where the last Blockbuster is.
He's going around with googly eyes on every statue, which is probably the funniest way to vandalize something that they're at.
It says they've spent $1,500 removing the eyes. What in the world?
I think how are they paying somebody $1,500 an hour? Because
just
that's
keep
how long
them there.
it would take.
It's better now.
All right, Nick's gonna be joining us for the final bit of the funnies. What's up, Nick? Can't hear you, buddy. Mic's off.
Wait, it spent $1,500 removing the eyes from 7 of the 8. So they didn't even get them all.
One sculpture, the Phoenix Rising, may even require repainting.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, do birds not crap on these?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's no way.
And what about the acid rain because of all of our pollution and carbon emissions?
Yeah. Shouldn't these things be disintegrated by now?
Yeah.
All right. This next one says, have kids, they said. Christmas will be magical, they said. Girls are daddy's little princesses, they said.
Dude.
The last bud
Yeah,
is
yeah.
about the funniest thing.
She's gonna be in a metal
you know,
band someday.
At least I'm on top in that equation.
Nick, I may have heard something.
Do you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we can hear you. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. I was on the right settings. I don't know what was going on there, but
Yeah, maybe it's just a little glitch.
yeah, I was out of
Gremlins.
the thing tonight, and I stayed longer than I wanted to. I had to drive all the way down to Pittsburgh, so that's
Gotcha.
a 45 to an hour drive.
Oh my gosh. Some quack, in response to that first one, they almost called one of the women's soccer teams Vibe.
Oh yeah. Well, in my part of town, all the girls teams like softball, soccer, they're all called Pressure. And I'm like, why? Like, what? Really? There's not enough pressure on them already. You got to literally make them wear it.
Gotta make them wear pressure. All right. This next one, let me zoom in a little bit on this next one. The dog is the only one who seems to know that's a freaking bobcat. So here you go.
Drop fall and the beauty of it all. Sun comes shining through. You make those things golden. When I think of you sometimes,
That will murder all of us. It's just waiting for us to go to
we
sleep.
can make it if we try. Just the two drops fall and the beauty of it all.
It's that opening shot.
Oh man.
The dog staring up at the guy.
I mean, that stuff happens, right? I have worked with a guy who said his sister found a stray dog at the park one day.
Yeah.
It was a coyote.
Oh gosh, come on, y'all. Come on.
I would not mess with cats like that. Like
No.
in college, my roommate's regular house cat snapped and started attacking people, including myself. And I got messed up. Like it shredded me.
Dude, their little
Cats or
claws
something.
can destroy you. They're not cool. You can't have a cat bigger than a normal house cat. It's going to kill somebody. Like if that thing gets
Don't
all
get a
over your
Maine
neck-
Coon.
Yeah. If just a regular house cat got a hold of your neck, you might be dead. Like
Yeah. Well, I've always said, if I really had the money and the time for it, I want a Savannah cat.
They're crazy.
Which is like a mini cheetah.
Yeah, they need so much exercise.
They get up to like 75 pounds. Like they'll get in the shower with you. They'll chase a tennis ball.
You have to have a giant wheel for them to
walk
run
them
on.
on a leash, all that kind of stuff. But you have to go through like a training class to be an owner. There's a breeder down in Vienna, Georgia. It's spelled like Vienna, but it's Vienna because it's Georgia.
I mean, we have a Versailles here in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, and it's Cairo here in Georgia as well.
there's,
Not Cairo.
there's Lebanon in Kansas, not Lebanon.
The craziest one to me is the one that looks like Taliaferro, which is someone, that's a last name people can have. It's Tolliver. Like it doesn't even look the same at all.
Hang on. I gotta see if y'all know how to pronounce this this place. Let's see.
We also have a city called Cumming, and it's pronounced Cumming.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, and I was saying last week, you can go to Walmart there and get a coffee mug that says "I Heart Cumming."
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. How would you pronounce? Not Mississippi, obviously, but these.
Bogshito.
Yeah, Bogshito. Yeah.
It's Bogachita.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, Bogachita, Mississippi. Yeah, that's how
Tell
you
you what, I got some family over in Noxapater, Mississippi, not far from there.
Nice. Yeah,
Just looking where it was on that map.
in Macomb in Summit.
I believe there's a mosquito bit or something. Canada spelled mosquito bite.
Of course
I mean, there's also a dildo, and there's
We
there's
found
some
out
crazy
there's a
ones.
Normal, Illinois today. Normal, Illinois.
I believe like one of the guys I used to work with was Canadian. He was naming off a bunch of them. There's like skull crushed in buffalo jump or something. There's all sorts of crazy Canadian names.
Yeah,
there are.
Your Pennsylvania names are just hyper like realistic and like autistic almost, like Mechanicsville. There's a mechanic there.
Yeah.
We have an intercourse. We also have a bird
sure.
in hand.
What's that one?
Bird in hand.
Bird in hand.
Bird in hand.
I've been to intercourse. It's cool.
Oh, Lord. All right, y'all. I think that'll do it for this episode. Nick, thanks for joining for the last 3 minutes.
That's what you pay me for.
Beaver, Utah. Explain that to your kids. That's great. Thanks.
In North Georgia, the carpet capital of the world, there is a place called Beaver Carpets.
Of course.
All right. You talking about Dalton?
No, yeah, Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, Legacy Zach. Appreciate
Hey,
you
Zach.
tuning in, man. That was some great stuff tonight. I'm gonna go check out Zano. I think I saved it. Yeah, I saved it.
Yeah, Zano.
All right, y'all. That'll do it for this week. Make sure you tune in to the Free Georgia podcast on Mondays, the Banished Big Brother podcast on Mondays, Wrexham Texan on Sundays for the time being, although it will soon be Wednesdays. The Wrexham Texan. Sure.
I'm gonna keep calling it that.
The next episode of Cascade Effect will come out either on January 6th or prior. I'm working on it, y'all. It's just a process. So apologies for the lateness. It'll be coming out. Just please be patient. That'll be it for this week. Zach, Nick, Steven, y'all got anything else before we head off?
Nope.
That's it from me. Just check out Banished Big Brother.
Heck yeah. Go check it out, y'all. Go check out peacefulsea.network. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Peace.